Mm. All right, guys. So a few weeks ago, or last month, give or take, I uploaded a video about a man contacting me, letting me know that he was from the sheriff department and he was I've been investigating an identity theft case, where it was possible that two people stole a property from the real owner and they sold it. So I have an interesting update. This morning, I did go ahead and meet with him. He reached out to me last Friday. He was a little concerned why he hadn't heard back from me in regards to the case that he was working. And I let him know, like, hey, the title company told me that I would have to wait to hear from them before I was allowed to speak to you. But I have no problem helping you out. Those were the instructions that I was given. Well, he followed up with, you're a notary public, you don't work for the title company, you're subcontracted for them. So because of that, you are allowed to speak to me. And I said, okay, that's fine. His tone at that point was a little aggressive, but I mean, that's not the issue or the thing. I think he was just annoyed that he probably just wasn't getting where he wanted to be with his case. And, we'll just call it that. So, this morning when I met with him, he was actually pretty polite. We met at a coffee shop and they had some pictures that they wanted me to pick out of I guess a lineup. But, in my head, when he said he wanted me to pick people out of a lineup, I thought it was going to be like, in a police station, people would be lined up against the wall or something, but it wasn't. It was just photos. And I just picked the photos that looked very similar. Like, I honestly don't remember what the people look like, but I do remember like kind of what they could have been. Like, I knew they weren't like big people, or I know they weren't younger, or I knew that much. Like, I knew like the frame of the lady was a smaller frame. I knew that she was kind of older. I remember like she was kind of rough looking, not very clean cut, those type of things. That's what I can remember. And so I did my best. I like I said, I just did my best to pick out what I remember. But one interesting tidbit about it, and I let them know because at one point we just decided it was easier for me to email instead of phone call. Instead of relying on phone calls. I went back through some of my emails and my records, and I remember that we did the appointment at a public department store. So because we did the appointment in a public department store, I was able to tell him like, hey, I did this here in this part of the store. There could possibly be a tape. So, excuse me, I had to clear my throat. So, it's possible that the appointment is recorded on a video. And so I'm hoping that they're able to get that recording and, go from there. Hopefully they can help somebody out. Just the story seems like a sad situation all the way around. But like I said, unfortunately, this is not uncommon. This happens all the time in real estate, especially like with family members. A lot of time, siblings or relatives will try to sell the property up under another relative or sibling that they don't particularly care for. I've heard of, I mean, it's just weird stuff that happens. People get really greedy when it comes to money and real estate. So it's not the first time. It won't be the last time. I'm just shocked that I was in the middle of all of this. But yeah, that's my update. I did go ahead and meet with him. I did my best to pick the people out of a lineup, which is just a stack of papers. And I gave them all the information I thought I had to help them out. The location that we did the signing. I didn't give him the time, although I probably need to email him and let him know, hey, this is the time that we did it. Uh, it and what else did I give him? Location. Oh, and the phone numbers that I text messaged the people back and forth on. I know there's services where you can like Google people's phone number and it'll tell you who may have been the owner, or who the number is related to. Unless it's like a burner phone or something, which it with these type of people, I'm almost certain it could have been like a burner phone. You never know. But another interesting thing that I was kind of giggling about when I thought about the appointment location, and I didn't think about it at the time, but it was probably a red flag. When we were filling out the disbursement, like the page that says, "Hey, how do I want to receive my money?" The lady asked if we can send her money Cash App, which, at the time we were just kind of like, huh, that's weird. Almost to the point where we're kind of like, it was laughable. But thinking about it now, and with everything going on, that was probably a red flag. Most adults have banking accounts. So the fact that she did not have a bank account and could not provide one was very questionable. Again, you really don't think about it because I had never been asked that before, but thinking about it now with the situation, it was probably a red flag. So I'll probably update him that as well, that information as well, if it means anything. But that's all I can really think of. Again, it was a weird situation. I've never thought in a million years I would be in the middle of something like this, but it happens. Also, another investor that I do a lot of stuff for, another story, and I'm glad that I did not put myself in the middle of this one, or I didn't have the opportunity to be in the middle of this one with my signing service by like hiring a notary to do it. There is another case where somebody sold the house up under the real owners, but the owners of the property were not legal citizens. So the way the guy did it was he threatened to report the real owners to immigration if they tried to stop him from selling the house. But they had all the proof. I think it was like one of those creative, like owner financing type of situations. So that's why, I don't know the full story. I just know that somehow, some way, they were swindled out of their home by somebody who they probably trusted at one time. So I'm glad I'm not in the middle of that one. That did not happen here in Houston. That happened in another city. The title company that was handling that transaction, I they don't they use their own signing service. So because of that, I did not dispatch a notary to them. So that would have been like, that just would have been double the mess right now. And I'm glad I'm only dealing with one, situation at a time. But yeah, I'm glad that I was able to help them out. I hope that I hope this works out for the best for the victim. I really do hope she gets her home back. So just remember, keep those red flags in mind. The fact that the people were kind of sketchy or kind of unkept was not a red flag for me. Unfortunately, when you work with investor properties, a lot of times the people are in that same, they have that same thing. I don't want to call it appearance type situation, but they have that same profile. That's probably the word. They have the same profile. They tend to go through financial hardships, either or they go through health issues. Um, they're going through something to where they're not going to look like your normal everyday. I go to work and I clock out of work type of person. Um, so yeah. Well, I'm just curious to see how this works out. But yeah, just always keep yourself covered. Do not take money outside of closing. Sometimes it will happen. People will try to offer you an extra 20, 30, 50, $100 if they can. Don't take any money outside of closing. Do not accept expired IDs. And make sure to like keep records. That's the best thing I can think of at the moment to kind of cover yourself and keep yourself from being in the middle of a fraudulent case. If something happens, it's out of your control. It's just something happens, but just you don't want to be tied or associated. And I think at one point, because the sheriff had not heard back from me, I was waiting for him to call me. I guess he was waiting for me to call him. I think he kind of thought that I was possibly involved in some way, shape, or form, and there's no way I would do anything like that. It's not worth $150 to be involved with something like that. But yeah, I'm glad I'm able to help him out. I'm glad we were able to clear things up, and I'm really curious to see how it works out. I'll follow up with the title company. I'll follow up with him maybe in a few weeks or so, and we'll go from there. But I do have some other exciting updates, and I have some appointments that I've uploaded, or I not uploaded yet, but that I actually recorded and intend to upload. So just keep watching, keep posting, and I'll keep you updated if there's another update. But yeah, that's what happened. I met with the sheriff.